Hello YouTubers, Alaska Prepper here. Second video of the day. I didn't think I was going to make another video today, but I came across this article here. I think it was during yesterday's video. And I said something about that the beef stock in the United States and the poultry stock was high. Meaning that the frozen beef and some of the poultry that we have that's in stock, in frozen stock, is a little higher. And I commented on that saying that why is it a little higher? Is it because people cannot afford to buy it, so now there is more being left on the shelf? And I think that's one of the reasons why we maybe have a higher beef stock, red meat stock, meaning beef and pork, and also chicken. Here it says Iranian food consumption plummets as prices soar. As I've said in the past, ladies and gentlemen, and I've said several times, that food shortages are not only in the form of scarcity, but in the form of prices. And that, I believe, is happening here in the United States. It's just not being talked about. Well, it's definitely happening in Iran. It says here that food prices are continuing to climb across the globe. And I don't think that anyone can refute that fact. Iran has seen its consumption of fruits and vegetables collapse by as much as 30%. Not because they don't have it, but because the people cannot afford it. It's what happens, ladies and gentlemen, when a currency begins to fail. And I've often stated as well that I believe that the United States, especially amongst other Western nations, will be the last ones to feel it the worst. But when it finally gets here, it's going to be bad. Meaning what? Meaning that you have time to prepare, ladies and gentlemen. Food supplies could be disrupted in Iranian hospitals and government facilities in the coming weeks because their money is no good. Iranians are consuming fewer fruits and vegetables as skyrocketing prices shake the country's food security. Now, there's a couple of reasons for high prices. One of them can be scarcity. So the less of something there is, the more that it's going to cost if it's still in the same amount of demand. But also because of the currency with which you are dealing with. Here in the United States, we are very lucky to have a reserve currency of the world. However, ladies and gentlemen, I believe that once all of the countries outside the United States start to collapse, we will collapse as well. We will just be the last man standing. Why? Because we have the world reserve currency. Unless you live in a nation that pretty much produces everything that it needs for itself, you're going to be in pretty bad shape. And we here in the United States, we produce almost nothing for ourselves. And here they say that the vice president of the Fruit and Vegetable Sellers Association told the ILNA news agency on June 22nd that consumption has decreased by between 25 and 30% because of price rises and implementation of economic policies of the president of that government. Many people are confused and do not know which basic products to spend their money on, he said. And here he says that beef sales had dropped 20% in recent weeks. Man, this sounds so familiar to that article that I was reading, but only in reverse, right? The article that I was reading in yesterday's video says that we have a higher stock of beef and some poultry. Why is that? I believe is that people are cutting back because they cannot afford it. They have to pay for gas to get to work. They have to pay to keep their homes cool, right? Because it's not winter now, it's summer. But they have to pay to keep their homes cool. So energy is going up. And now they're going to have to decide on whether to spend money on energy or spend money on food to put on the table. While the head of the Food Industry Federation said sales of overall food industry products in the country had fallen by half, and the chairman of the Dairy Products Industry Association, noting an 80% increase in dairy prices last month, said household consumption in his sector had decreased by 20% in recent months. So now people are having to decide what to cut out of their diets because they just can't afford all of the food. Extreme inflation in Iran has sparked street protests and rattled public institutions such as hospitals, prisons, and child care centers, which are facing possible food shortages. The Statistics Center of Iran said the inflation rate in June hit 52%. Ladies and gentlemen, why is it important that we look at other countries? Like, for example, here we're looking at Iran. because that shows us what's coming down the line. If we continue to go down the road that we've been going for decades, really, it shows us what's coming down the line, and it gives us a better perspective of how we can prepare for these times that are coming. So had these people in Iran known what was coming, because they saw it happening in other countries before it happened to their country, they would have been better prepared for this. Unfortunately, most people will just not listen. Most people say, oh, this is fear-mongering, it's never going to happen. Well, you just wait. You know, life is a cycle. All right, life is a cycle. You just look back in history and you'll see how cycles repeat themselves all the time. Different cycles for different things. Monetary cycle, business cycle, you know, the war cycle, the civil unrest cycle. These are all cycles that continuously repeat themselves over time. Why? Because we humans, ladies and gentlemen, we just don't like to learn from our mistakes. And we continue to make those mistakes over and over and over again. Last week, the Tehran-based newspaper reported that the impending problem of food security could hit in the coming weeks and that food supplies will be disrupted, not only in hospitals, but also in government facilities such as barracks, prisons, nursing homes, and even student dormitories. Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen, just another example of what we have to prepare for. I hope you got something out of this short video. Having said that, have a great day. I'm hoping to be able to do a live stream sometime tomorrow on Tuesday, so we'll see how things go. Still working on a project and have many more projects to go. All right, but I'll fill you in during our live stream. Hopefully I'll have one tomorrow. I'll put out a message early enough so that you can join in. Hope to see you there. Have a great rest of your day, and God bless every one of you.
Hello everyone, I have here today in order to ask you one simple question. All the crazy things going on in the world, if something bad happens, if something does not go your way, and it becomes too much to take, tell me, what are you gonna do?
What you gonna do if the lights go out, if the bars on your phone go down? What you gonna do when the food in your fridge runs out?
What you gonna do?
Alaska Prepper has got the measure to help you make it through December. Help you prepare no matter the weather.
What you gonna do?
Ladies and gentlemen, Nutrient Survival has launched an Alaska Prepper Payday Prep Bucket, and it will be available for the month of June. When you visit the page, make sure to take a look at the nutrition tool that an independent laboratory has developed, and you will see that this bucket is 17 times more nutrient dense than the top 3 leading brands of long-term freeze-dried foods. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't only partner with Nutrient Survival because they have great people, but because Nutrient Survival is the most nutrient-dense, long-term survival freeze-dried food in the market, and it tastes great. So feed your freedom with Nutrient Survival.